It's been over 2 years since All of Us Are Dead aired, and fans have been waiting in anticipation for a new season ever since. Now we're here with some major updates. For the longest time, there was nothing when it came to updates about the series. Luckily, the prospects of getting a second season were looking pretty good, since director Lee Jae-gyu had already hinted at the possibility of a new season all the way back in 2022. He promised fans that if the first season was a success, he'd make sure to get the drama back on our screens for another season. It's said that even while developing the storyline for the first season, Jae-gyu kept in mind the possibility for the show to expand and run for more than just 1 year. On June 6, 2022, the show was officially renewed for a second season. The announcement came with a very ominous teaser trailer, which didn't reveal much about the plot at all. To keep us on our toes, the director provided us with some cryptic insights into what direction the show will take. Elaborating on what his vision for season 2 is, he said, "If season 1 was about the survival of humans, it's ridiculous, but I feel like season 2 will be about the survival of zombies." He then dished a bit on the origins of the virus and how he came up with the idea. It turns out that he actually drew a lot of inspiration from the COVID-19 pandemic. Jae-gyu explained he found it very intriguing how diverse the responses of people's immune systems can be when faced with a virus. His point was that while one person may become infected right away, others may show symptoms after a few days, and some might not even get infected at all. He went on to suggest that if the zombie virus in the show works in a similar way, it could lead to some really puzzling situations. This explanation caused a lot of fans to come up with many theories of what could happen in season 2. Speaking of the plot, there were a lot of loose ends and unanswered questions at the end of season 1. So let's take a look at what could happen next. Although All of Us Are Dead is all about people losing their lives left and right, you can never be sure whether someone is actually gone. At least that's the case for Chong-san, who we saw lit on fire after he fell down an elevator shaft. Most people would think there's no way to come back from that, but you'd be mistaken. Fans with a sharp eye definitely noticed all the small clues pointing at the fact that Yoon Chan-young might return to reprise his role as Chong-san in season 2. The first most obvious clue is that he briefly appeared in the announcement video for the next season. It wouldn't make sense for him to be part of the promotional activities if he isn't going to star in the next part. Chan-young's inclusion in the cast list for the upcoming season on platforms like My Drama List further solidifies his return. Fans think that his comeback would be fitting for the storyline as well, given his unresolved relationship with Anjo. The two went through a bit of a rough patch in season 1 after she initially rejected him. However, they had a moment of reconciliation when Anjo gave him her name tag. While Chong-san is seemingly buried under ash and ruins, Anjo's name tag remained on top of him, suggesting that they might find their way back to each other. It could also be that Chong-sang returns as a zombie, since his passing was never explicitly depicted, leaving room for speculation about his survival. Now that we're on the topic of ambiguous fates, Eunji is yet another character that never got much closure. A theory has been going around that she'll return for the second season, but this time around as the show's main villain. Her fate in season 1 wasn't the greatest, as she went from someone who was continuously harassed by her peers to a dangerous Hambi. When turning into a Hambi, Eunji retained her consciousness and most of her personality, but she couldn't control her impulses when it came to attacking people, making her the perfect villain. At the end of season 1, she was arrested by the military and kept in a cell as a test subject for the military's research on the zombie virus. At the end of the show, the cell Eunji was kept in was shown to be empty, making it unclear what happened to her. Considering a body was never shown, there's a good possibility that she's still alive. However, it's also likely that the military got rid of her once they were done experimenting. If she is really still alive, that could mean she escaped her captors or that she was relocated to a different facility. Either way, she'd pose a huge threat for anyone around her if she does really return. There's another pretty popular theory that the real villain of the show is actually the government, who will use the virus as a weapon to control the citizens. There were quite a few events in season 1 that made the government look pretty suspicious. At some point, they raided the scientist's home with the goal of finding his research. To their surprise, they found his wife and son as well, who both were in the process of turning into zombies. Instead of getting rid of them, the military took them back to their experimental bunker. Fans believe the reason for this was to experiment on them in order to create the ultimate weapon. The fact that Eunji was also kept in a cell only further backs this theory up. Some viewers like to give the government the benefit of the doubt, saying that it's possible that they're trying to create a cure by experimenting on all the people they're holding captive. Keeping in mind what the director said about the nature of the zombie virus, that's definitely going to be a challenge. Considering that that season 2 will focus on the survival of the zombies, Namra might actually be the one to lead it. Sometime back, it was confirmed that Choi Yi-hyun will return to reprise her role, but there's a good possibility she'll have a lot more screen time this time around. This has everything to do with the fact that Namra becomes a hybrid and we're unsure of what her next move is going to be. At the end of season 1, she leaves her friends to go on a quest by herself, all while she's in a new hybrid-like state. She doesn't show any sign of life for months until she's finally reunited with her friends again near the end of the series. She shocks them with the news that there are more hybrid zombies like her around, and then once again leaves them behind after jumping off the rooftop, leaving both her friends and viewers completely puzzled as to what will happen next. This particular scene raised a lot of questions among viewers, as no one knows for sure what Namra plans to do with the other Hambies. There's many different theories about what Namra's next move will be. Some people believe the show will follow the original webtoon storyline, in which Namra sticks beside her friends instead of going rogue with her fellow hybrids. Others are convinced the screenwriters will choose to shake things up a little by making Namra part of a greater evil. They believe that in the months she was away, she became evil and tried to lure her friends with the campfire to capture them. This might be a bit far-fetched though, since Namra tried to contain her urges and even left her friends altogether when she realized she could potentially harm them. Either way, there's a good possibility that the fate of the Hambies will be one of the main storylines in season 2. Director Jae-gyu admitted that he created the Hambies with the intention of further exploring that plotline in other seasons. There's a lot more to discuss when it comes to potential threats. Think about Anjo's scratch from the very first episode. Keeping in mind how different the zombie virus works for each individual, this might have meant a lot more than we initially thought. The audience also would love to know what exactly happened to Byung-chan. We never saw him again after he disappeared in a crowd full of zombies, so what if he became one of them? Fans hoped that the second season would be out in early 2024, but based on recent developments, it seems like we still have some time to wait. There were rumors going around that filming for the show started in early 2023, but none of those outlets were ever verified. The most insight we have on the production timeframe actually comes from Park Ji-hoo's agency, BH Entertainment. They sparked excitement among fans when they made an Instagram post featuring Ji-hoo. In their post, they revealed the second season of All of Us Are Dead to be part of her 2024 lineup. This means that she'll either be working on the drama this year or promoting it. This subtle post is the first indication of a potential release date, and fans couldn't be happier. More recent reports reveal that filming for the drama was actually scheduled to start in the first quarter of this year. However, no concrete signs of production have surfaced anywhere. Allegedly, insiders have claimed that production will definitely happen in the first half of this year. If that's true, and the production timeline mirrors season 1, that would mean we'd get to enjoy the new season at the beginning of 2025. Nothing is set in stone yet though, so the possibility of a late 2024 release is also still very possible. Hopefully we won't be disappointed after waiting for so long, because that would be pretty bad.